Andy said he's pretty much ready, so.
Is he? We can wait. We're recording now, so. Bienvenue à l'épisode 6 de le Scotch podcast.
Streaming live from Barbados today.
Yeah, Sandy Shores. Sorry, Govan. You're actually in Govan.
I've taken the time out of my holiday to do this podcast, so.
Darren's native land.
This is wishful thinking.
Fraser. Oh, fuck's sake. It's what's the cat or Stacey there.
What?
He gets that when you want. Yeah. Stacey came in and she didn't know we were doing a podcast. Stacey just came in to get food and she was like, oh, sorry.
She can't stand Andy having the glory for this podcast.
She just wanted an honourable mention, man. She just wanted a mention.
We go for it. Go for it.
Stacey, come say hi.
Stacey, say hi.
Hi.
Yes. She's famous now.
So,
where have you been? What are we up to?
Good, man.
We should probably, what's happening today? We've got our first fucking special guest on, boys.
Exactly.
Long time coming. Should happen probably a lot sooner, but you know, he's probably too busy signing 6-figure deals and all that good stuff.
He was at Redcon probably.
Yeah.
One of them's just round the corner.
I've always said, like, I'm not trying to blow smoke up Andy's ass, but I can't believe he's not been sponsored yet.
Neither can I, actually. That's such a really good point.
I've asked him this. I've asked him, he's like, mate, it's worth more hassle than it's good.
I
was like, fuck it. I was like, mate, if you want me to sit here and fucking plug some fucking subs, I'll do it.
But
I can't believe it either. He makes so much money.
Literally the top amateur bodybuilder in the UK.
Make it look
I don't know if we can say that, but
wait, fact. That's fact though. Like he's got a current.
But you have to remember that other people might have not been competing that year that were questionably just as good, if not better.
exactly. He didn't win NABA.
Yeah, but that was the
Universe.
No, the Universe, but he won the Britain.
Yeah, but all the guys that compete. Why the fuck? Oh, right. I just saw your shaker and changed the background.
If you change that, that's
like the Universe is all British guys that are competing in it, or they're not?
No, well, it's obviously guys from fucking Italy and.
I know that, but was there any guys from anywhere but Britain competing in it?
Oh yeah, there was fucking mad Italian cunts and Spanish guys walking about and all that.
And Italian cunts and Spanish.
Italian cunts. There was definitely like Asian cunt people as well, like.
I'm just trying not to say cunts now.
Anyway.
All locks.
It's all right. You can say that. You're not white.
I know.
No, you can say what you want, really.
I know. I fit in every bracket.
Yeah, it's Captain Germany down there that needs to watch what it says.
I know. Will we invite this big lump of meat on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting. I'm just waiting for him to join. He's got the link.
Oh, does he? You need to fucking tell him.
No, I thought you were going to forward him the link.
No.
Well, I'll send it just now.
Yeah.
He'll be buzzing. Give me a second, lads. Sorry, I just presumed that you'd sent it over.
Nah, I just like keeping him waiting.
I forwarded them it. Let's just edit all this bit out.
Nah, we'll keep it in, mate. We'll keep it in. It's a good bit.
Those are organisation skills right there.
How's the knee? Is it recovered yet, Fraser?
My what?
Your knee.
Oh, no, right. Better. Like, I went round to Darren's yesterday and done a back session.
Oh, the big man's coming on. Shut it, Fraser. No one cares how your fucking neck is.
Shut up as well. Shut up, Taylor.
Fraser, tell us how your neck is. In fact, Andy's on now.
Yes.
Hey, sideways.
Yes, fucking sideways, Andy.
I don't get how this TV thing works.
Caveman Scott.
Does he not? Can you hear us, Andy?
Does he know he's on?
Yeah, he is. He's just connecting the audio now. Yes, Andy.
Andy, Why the fuck is your screen sideways?
Andy,
My phone's like that.
Ah, there you go.
Is that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Welcome.
It's just the camera's better on my phone than it is my laptop.
I've never thought to do that. The camera on your phone.
You're too professional, mate. You got the new MacBook. You like the setup.
This isn't Andy's first rodeo.
No, yeah. That's what I said. He's booked out. We had
I've done a million podcasts.
you guys don't.
1 million.
We arranged this last year. He's just too big time. But yeah, welcome, sir. What an absolute pleasure.
I know. It's been how many episodes have you done? This is the 6th one.
6th one, yeah.
Officially 6, yeah, but there's about 8. There's about 8.
There's not very many.
So in this episode then is my name now not banned?
There you go. You're officially off
the banned list.
You can say your name now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We're expecting you were going to be asking for loyalty, so you know. Made a fair point.
No, you've all paid me enough over the years. Don't worry.
Exactly.
Yeah, too bloody right. I actually remember we're having a conversation after one of the sessions, and you said that one of your clients was like, "Oh yeah, enjoy that holiday I'm paying for."
Aye.
I was dying.
Yeah, like I think it was like the last session before I went away, and he was like, "Enjoy whatever." I was Mexico probably, and he was like, "It's on." He was like, "It's on me" or something like that. I was like, "Fuck off."
What do you say to that though? You just have to like, you know what, fuck your famous.
Well, with that particular client, I just laugh. I just don't say anything. I just laugh. One of those guys that thinks he's hilarious.
Yeah, I haven't with a client anymore.
Yeah, I still do. No, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. What was that?
For people that are watching that maybe don't know, myself, Fraser, and Taylor have all been coached by Andy before, so this will be quite interesting because we can now pick his brain and kind of see which one of us he preferred if he had it.
That's an obvious fucking question, man. It was going to come up at some point. Obviously, me.
Of course, I was going to say that.
I know.
Andy,
I'm fucking sweating there.
Not play favourites.
But yeah, we'll just get the ball rolling. So obviously, I've known you for quite a while now. You know, the boys known you a lot longer than me. I've known you for about, I don't know, for maybe like 1.5 years, 2 years.
Yeah.
You're my first coach and kind of played a massive role, I'd say, in my life and just kind of developing that love I have for the sport. But I think a lot of people would probably quite like to know your background, how you kind of got into it. I know you've probably said it a million times, but there are people that haven't maybe clicked on you through one of our socials, but you know, don't really know much more about you. So if you'd like to maybe give a in-depth kind of, or a quick kind of scan over your kind of history, how you got into everything.
If you can imagine just a world where somebody hasn't heard of Andy Scott.
Oh yeah, cheeky dick. Yeah, so almost the same story as you, Taylor. I played rugby from about the age of 10 until I was 18, and it wasn't until we were shown by like various like development officers from the SRU, like the Scotch Rugby Union, how to lift when we were about like 15. So I was taught to like squat, deadlift, and bench through my rugby club with that. And then I always played outside centre or wing for anyone that knows rugby positions. And but I always wanted to move up to the flanker positions, which is in the forwards. And but I was never. Obviously, I'm only 5'11", just.
On a good day.
And
with your heels on.
So what?
With your heels on.
With my hair spiked up, and so I was never tall enough to be a flanker. So I thought I'm going to try and be heavy enough to be a flanker. So I went and started training, and then like I wanted to go up to the professional level in rugby, but I think I always knew I was never good enough because you just know, like yourself, you played for like Warriors development and stuff like that. So I never got to that level. I got to select level. That's as high as I got. And just like the last set, like one of the last sessions of under 18s, and the guys that were going to be put forward for like Scotland's under 18 trials, it's not under 19 trials, but under 20s. and I wasn't on the list. I was like, you know what, that dream's over. I'm not doing that anymore. So, but by that point, I'd started lifting quite seriously. I still didn't really know what I was doing, and like by no means did I have like a structured diet in place or anything like that. But I thought, right, if I'm going to put more effort into training, I need to have more of a focus and more of a drive behind this, because I feel like I shouldn't just be doing it half-arsed. I already knew, even though didn't know a lot, I still knew that I needed to address the nutrition aspect and just solidify that. But again, I wasn't going to be disciplined with it unless I had a proper goal with it. So at that point, I'd started watching all the old muscle tech videos that are on YouTube. So like the Johnny Jackson, Branch Warren, the old like ancient Fouad Abiad videos.
Those are the last things what we watch if you try to learn about fucking form, man.
No, but if you watch them though, like Johnny Jackson's like the way he teaches like the deadlift is actually pinpoint. He just obviously doesn't apply that when he trains himself. So
Branch Warren, man, fucking hell.
You can't argue with him, can you though?
Nah, not at all.
Some of the videos that they're for, we just like, how do you get big from that?
Mate, I'll never forget the Generation Iron video of him on the horse, and he's like,
I remember that.
I never been outside of the gym, and then it just fucking bucks him off.
That was one of those moments where I'm just like, oh fuck, no.
Yeah.
How can you leave that in? But obviously they're gonna leave it in.
Yeah. It was fun.
So yeah, I started watching those videos. I was like, who the fuck are these guys? Because they're massive and shredded, and I was like, I'd heard of like all the old school bodybuilders and that coming up, and being in the gym for a couple of years at that point as well. So like I then typed in like bodybuilding competitions, saw that on YouTube, and thought, oh well, that seems like a tangible goal to try and get to that level. So I decided that I'd do my first show in 2012. So that gave me a 2-year kind of off season, so to speak, until that first show, and then stepped on stage for the first time and realised that I want to do this forever, basically. So
that's mad. Yeah. Did you see? I don't know. At least for me, I remember never really being. I always remember knowing about bodybuilders, but it just kind of escalated because it started off like the physique guys, and then the more I got into it, the more I was like, nah, I want to get fucking freaky.
Yeah.
Were you automatically just drawn to like that, the kind of mass monsters, or did it just kind of build up?
I went straight to like I said, Johnny Jackson and like I remember watching Fouad Abiad and all that back then. That was 10, 11 years ago. So I was already watching these monsters. So that's always been fixated kind of in my head where I wanted to take this essentially. So yeah, it's don't get me wrong, I see the appeal I see why people would slowly build up, because the way the competitive bodybuilders look, especially guys at the top level, it's when you're first introduced to it, it's like, God, that's not nice. Even now, I see some like progress photos and stuff of like shredded bodybuilders, and you see some body parts, you're like, that is disgusting. How have they made like that body part look like that? So it still gets me a wee bit even now, but I was never put off by like the extremity of the sport anyway. So, and I never really, from that point, I was like, I don't need to really do anything less than that, or have the goal less than that, essentially. So,
what was your first ever show, and what did you place? I don't actually know the answer to that.
At the NABA Scottish, I placed second to a guy called Ben Warner.
What class was that? Junior? Juniors,
yeah, under 21.
Cool.
And then 4 weeks later, I beat him at the UKBFF Scottish.
Cool.
And played, and that's when I won my first show.
Nice.
So I just took like the mistakes I made the day of NABA, and then just obviously applied that 4 weeks later. So.
Yeah. Did you have like a coach or a prep coach back then? Like your first show?
I had a guy called Graham Park help me.
Yeah.
So Graham's a former Mr. Universe. So basically, I had my diet written out, and I'd see him once a week, and I'd just say, and he'd give like his input, very much like what Nick Vandal did the past 4 or 5 years. And if he said, I would say to him, look, Graham, I'm thinking about doing this. And he was like, no, I suggest you do this or you do that. So he was kind of just a second pair of eyes. He never like wrote out a diet for me or anything like that, but he he obviously introduced me to like the chemical side of the sport and that as well. And that was obviously a massive hand to not go and make obviously daft mistakes using that for the first time essentially. So, but he was Graham's always. I remember like Graham gave me a membership to his gym, so Results Gym in Aberdeen. This is before it's where it's currently at, which is like.
Right. That's theirs.
It's what?
That's his gym.
It was back in the day. It's not anymore.
Right.
And anyway, he said to me, "I'll give you a free membership to the gym if you win the UKBFF British in 2 years."
That's
so I was like,
"That's such a Ronnie Coleman-like story."
I know.
So the first year I tried to win it. I obviously didn't. I came 8th, and I was in my call out was James Hollingshead.
Ah, cool.
Oh, really?
So I remember you said this. I remember you said this.
Yeah. So I was standing next to him. Like, see, back then, like I remember like me and my training partner Sean, like we'd look at me after a session, like fucking hell, like the size I've added since the UKBFF Scottish is mental. There's no way I can get beat and all that. And I remember like standing next to James and just feeling like a fucking pube. Like honestly, like I still know that feeling. I'm just feeling like that next to him, and he wasn't. If he compared to what he is now, like he's half the size of what he was now, and even then he was fucking. He was terrifying. So he didn't even win that day though. It was a guy called Jack Stokel. He won the juniors and then fell off the face of the earth. Apparently,
that's the thing about like when people compete is that. You know, it's so difficult to actually put them in, to actually compare them to a normal human, like with size, because obviously, like to you, who's an absolute massive, and Greg, I've yet to meet Greg, but there's other people that are, you know, like you're saying, James Hollingshead, that I'd love to actually see them in person just so you can actually witness like the size, because like so the stuff they put on social media won't do it any justice. Like actually seeing like 300 pounds of actual tissue, you know, just like hanging off. I was like, just mental.
Yeah. Body power. If you've ever been to body power, that's one of the best experiences just to see like an IFBB pro in person. You're just like, what the fuck, man? Like you can't comprehend like how thick these guys are. Like from the side, if you look at them side on, you're just like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, the first IFBB pro I saw in the flesh was Branch Warren at the Scottish. And I remember being like, I'd been around like obviously Graham, but Graham was way past his prime, and then there's another few guys from Aberdeen who are quite big as well, and like thinking they were monsters. And then I saw Branch Warren, and I was like, what the fuck? Like just that. How can you fit that amount of muscle in such a small frame?
You know, once that he was taking like 50 IU growth hormone.
Someone told me that in Scottish bodybuilding, who will who will remain anonymous. So I got told that, but I don't know how much of that is shite. Like, I mean, come on, like who can actually, you know what I mean? So I remember Phil Viz putting in a group as well. He put in Geared Up about a year ago, saying that Cutler used like 30 IU a day, and I was like, really? Like, did he tell you that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So, but yeah, it's hard to that. I think I said to you, Taylor, before, and I said to you as well, Fraser, that like your first shows, they're just a gauge. They're not like, obviously you want to win, and it's fucking heartbreaking when you don't, but they are. It's good to get your arse handed to you at some point doing this, because you then realise what you actually need to do. And like when I stood next to James Hollingshead, and obviously I didn't even place in the top 6, I was like, right, I know exactly what I need to do, and I went to work and and then I won it the year after. So it was kind of being in that position should drive you anyway. So
100%.
Yeah. Do you want to run through your competitive history just kind of briefly?
Yeah, 2 seconds.
I was thinking as I said that. say you can't basically go through your competitive history.
Right. Every show or win
or just the biggest achievements.
biggest achievements.
I think last year, this year.
Yeah, the 2019 season was
Last year
obviously
was-
the fucking
Yeah.
season. Like,
2019 was amazing. But I've never felt emotion like winning the UKPFF British Juniors.
Yeah.
Because that was so unexpected. I knew I was going to place in the top 6, but I didn't expect to win. That to me will always be the most emotional and the best win ever for now. So,
What would you say was second? It's kind of touching on one of the questions that we came up with for you, I think.
Being on stage with Greg.
Oh, that wasn't one of the ones I was going to think you were going to say.
I think that for me, Greg, in terms of me like actually having standing in a show. So I've been up against obviously James Hollingshead in that British. Obviously, I wasn't competitive in that year. And then in the Arnold Classic in 2014 in Madrid, and I didn't even place at that show. And Blessing Aduhu who won that class. And the guy, and the guy who came fourth was Nicholas Falud, who's Patrick Ture's client. So that class, you can imagine being backstage and seeing all those guys when I knew I was 100% off. I was the worst I've ever looked in a show. Imagine being backstage. You know what? It was me and Blessing. You know, like when you do like tricep pushdowns with each other. One guy's got a towel and the other guy's doing tricep pushdowns. Me and Blessing were doing that backstage, and as he was pumping up, I was like, fuck. I just remember being like, I look like a bag of shit. And I just knew it because you should never do this, right? But this photographer came up to me who, like, I was supposed to do a shoot with him in Madrid, in a gym in Madrid afterwards. And he came up to me just before I went on and went, "What did you do?" And I went, "Thanks, mate. That's exactly what I needed before I stood on stage." And then, so obviously we got sidetracked because this is the worst
story.
This is the worst experience. This is the worst
exactly
story.
what you've done.
Wait, what happened? Was it just go with it as a bad prep from start to finish?
No. I moved to Glasgow 4 weeks out. Didn't know anyone. Had no money. Was in a shiter flat with like nothing working. I had to walk to Extreme every day. So that was an hour there an hour a day, and I was training twice a day. So it's 2 hours walking to Extreme Gym to train. And then eventually what happened, I got into like a binge eating cycle from 4 weeks out, and I couldn't get out of it. And then I just looked progressively worse and worse and worse and worse. And basically this guy from Aberdeen wanted to sponsor me for the show. So he paid for my flights and hotel. And then basically he patched me last minute as I was getting on the plane. So he's like, "I'm not coming." I was like, "Well, I know nothing about where the hotel is." And then he didn't answer any of my texts, emails, phone calls, didn't pick up his phone, nothing. So I'm walking about Madrid with like 3 suitcases worth of stuff. Obviously I'd just done a 20-week prep. I was absolutely fucked. And like, I thought I was going to have to sleep rough. Like, and if anyone's been to Madrid city centre, at night, it's just homeless people. There's no people out in the streets and that. It's just fucking homeless people everywhere. And so that whole prep from 4 weeks out and being in Madrid was just a fucking disaster. So I think we're taking a bit of a sidetrack with that story. That's my worst experience. But I remember I phoned my training partner, Sean, when I left, and I was like, "I'm never stepping foot in a gym ever again after that experience." And so that's the worst experience.
What did you do after that? Did you take some time off and then? Because I mean that.
That's been the only point in my life where I've like kind of like been out in the piss almost every weekend.
That's
like
mad.
for about 2 months.
Because
and then
sorry, because we all know you as just like you're so regimented, you're so just like so routine. You know, and I can't imagine. You know, I know you like some red wine, but like I couldn't imagine you like getting Tonto every weekend.
Yeah, every weekend for about 2 months. Yeah, wasn't going to uni. I was barely training, and then I just snapped out of it eventually. And then start of 2015, I was right, I'm going to redeem myself by winning the UKPF British Juniors again. But I ended up coming third. But yeah, that was a horrible experience. That put me off for a good bit after that. But it's always remained in the back of my head. And I remember, like, see the past 3 preps that I've worked with Nick. Every time I've moaned to him basically down the phone, being like, I'm gonna end up cheating tonight, or like I'm fucked. He's just like, just remember the state of you at Arnold. So I'm like, all right, okay. Yeah. That's always stuck in the back of my head. So ever since that show, I've been flawless, like gram for gram. Everything's been absolutely perfect in every single prep I've done. So regardless of the result. So
you hit rock bottom to feel what rock bottom felt like.
Yeah, I mean that opportunity, like I thought at 4 weeks out, I didn't think I was going to win because I knew Blessing was going to be doing it. But I thought I could have made top 6 with how I was looking at 4 weeks out. I really did, and that's obviously with a trained eye now. I really thought I could have made top 6. So that, like, not only that, it was the biggest wasted opportunity ever. Because see, from that Blessing, like, he basically rebounded off that, and then look at him now. He's got like over 1 million followers on Instagram and all his attention, and that's where I think he got his first break. Yeah, and it was a massive fuck up on my part. But that's what I mean. You need to go through this. So like when, like, obviously I've kind of prepped you, Darren, but I've obviously prepped you other 2 guys, and when I say to you certain things to try and get your head in the right place, it's coming from me completely fucking up before, and fucking up like that. At that point in time, the Arnold Classic Europe was the biggest title you could win as a junior, and I fucked it but because of my own mind, basically. So I know that's why when I'm trying to calm down clients and give them a kind of my perspective, it comes from a time that I really, really fucking messed up. So
that's mad. Yeah. I had no idea that this is like amazing that for you, because like I said, you've always just been in that, it sounds really fucking cringe, but in mind, like a kind of like Mr. Execution, Mr. Perfect, like everything's went so well. And I'd known that I wasn't a great pet, but you know, now that you've obviously elaborated on it, it's like it's
yeah.
For me, it's I feel like I can resonate more with you, and I don't almost feel I don't know, I feel connected a bit more
because of that experience.
Sorry,
you're probably like all that now because of that. Like that's why you feel regimented. It's probably that, as much as it sucked. It's probably one of the best things to happen to you.
It's like I never ever want to feel like that again.
Yeah.
So I like, and then obviously sometimes your body doesn't. Sometimes you just get beaten by a better person. Sometimes your body doesn't do what you think it's going to do, like it didn't at the Universe. But obviously the Universe was hard to take, but at the same time, I got over it really quickly because I knew I didn't do anything wrong. So there's that aspect of it as well.
Yeah.
So
that was definitely like impressive to see how you handled that, the loss at the Universe, like, because you could have easily beat yourself up about it, but as you said, you literally didn't do anything wrong. Your body just not to do what it usually did.
What happened? What would you have done differently?
I wouldn't have dropped my food after the PCA.
I was going to say that because you carb up as well.
Sorry?
You were going so flat so quickly.
Yeah. That was
the morning me and Darren tanning you up going, sit the fuck down. Your legs have got a pump from you standing up. They're literally exploding. And we couldn't believe it when you stepped on stage. You were literally like, how's he gone flat?
See that moment, like obviously the Arnold has been an example of that. I think Arnold it's been an example. I think no, just the Arnolds. The Arnold in the Universe. I've stood on stage and you just know you look off. You just know because like obviously like used to had been to all of my shows previously, making tons of noise when I was on stage. and I was like, they're being really quiet.
Oh man, so bad.
It's like that, and like you can just see, like, I know the face I'm making. You can just see my face go, oh fuck.
Yeah.
And I went backstage, and obviously, like, I think I texted you, Darren. I think I texted you both, actually. I was just like, be honest. I don't care if you hurt my feelings. Just tell me how I fucking look. And you're like, oh, well. So, but I knew I was off. So, but like you said, I just kind of took it on the chin, and just woke up the next day on the Sunday and just thought, fuck it, I've got to put a game plan together to make sure I win it next year. So.
Good. And out of curiosity, obviously we're probably going to get onto this at a later point, but I think it probably ties in pretty well. So you've recently changed coach, which is I thought you were going to with Nick Van Dalfer. That was it. Because you spoke so highly, and I feel like you guys work pretty well together. But obviously now you're with Patrick Tuer, and did perhaps like the result at the Universe spur that? Was that kind of always going to be in the pipeline, or?
No. So like Nick and I have never worked together in an off season. I've always done my own thing in the off season. So basically, obviously, I've got not a single bad word to say about Nick Vandal at all. Like he's one of my good mates, and I know I can text him about anything, and we still talk in that as well. We don't talk like, I mean, I don't even talk to you three every day, but we don't talk every day. But yeah, we're still like good mates in that, and so it's got absolutely nothing to do with what he's done. He was incredible, the amount of effort and attention that he put into me, and that's why I try and transcend that into my own clients. Anyway, but going to Patrick, that was more between like February and April, I was second guessing everything I was doing, absolutely everything, because I know I needed to push my off season harder in some way, but I didn't know what way, and I kept chopping and changing things and overthinking things, and I was like, this needs to stop right now because I'm wasting time.
Yeah.
I don't think I've got like a, what's the word? I'd like to turn pro I'd like to win the Universe next year, and I'd like to turn pro IFBB wise before I'm 30, but I just felt I was just wasting time, and I think I try and push myself as high as I can go, and if I want to be at that level, then I need someone whose sole job is working with people at that level, to run my off season. So and yeah, it's done exactly what I wanted it to do. I'm stress free with everything that I'm doing. I don't have to think. I let him decide for me. So it's definitely put me in a good spot off season wise. And that's not saying like I'll never work with Nick again, because I trust his eye, and he's harsh in a really good way. And but like just right now, in terms of where I want to take my body off season wise, I think Patrick was the better, not the better fit, sorry, but a good fit for me at this point. So
that was going to be one of the main kind of questions we were just going to ask you, to like give us an update of like how things are going.
Yeah.
So, like any kind of standout things that you've learned so far from him, like.
Yeah. So I thought I pushed food in the past.
Yeah.
I didn't. I didn't push food in the past. I thought I did, but like I was feeling. So basically, everything that I eat is like whole source, quote unquote, clean foods. Whereas before, it's very easy to make up tons of carbs from cereal and process stuff. So that's why I think it's different now, because every single gram and every single calorie is coming from clean foods or whole sources. So that's been the biggest difference. But in terms of that, like I just feel fucking massive, essentially. Like, see when I saw you commented on the video of me on the horizontal leg press in Future. When I saw that back, I was like, fucking hell, didn't I look like that? And the progress I've made has been definitely faster than it would be if I did it myself.
Yeah.
Like everything that Patrick's asked me to do, I completely understand it and I agree with it, but I would never make myself do it. So that's why it's better stepping out of my own brain and allowing someone to just tell me to do it. So, I mean, for instance, he's got me doing like fasted cardio, which I understand why you'd put that in an off season, and I make clients do it, make plenty of clients do it, but I wouldn't make myself do it. I wouldn't rotate protein sources throughout the day. Just to try keep prep times as low as possible. In terms of the training, I would make anyway the SST. So that's his training system. I wouldn't do anything like that on my own accord. No chance. Like, I've done a back session today and I couldn't even do it. Like, you've all trained with me. I can fucking annihilate myself in a training session, and I couldn't get through it. I couldn't get through the third exercise. What you want me to do? It's too hard. So I've got to build it up. So in the third exercise for back, he wants me to do 10 sets of 3. In between each set is a 15-second rest, and he wants me to do deadlifts, and he wants me to use a weight that you can only get 6 reps with. So, yeah. So
I watched that James Hall video. I think he was bench pressing. He was doing the same thing. So it was like a heavy, a weight that you can do like 6 to 10 reps with, but you end up doing 30 reps with it.
Yeah. 10 sets of 3. It's fucking nails. I only got to the 5th set, and like I could feel my back was fine, but like my nervous system was absolutely fucked. I was shaking like that, and I was fucking ruined, and like I was so angry because like I've never been beaten in a session. I was beaten by myself. So it was a strange one, but I know like over time I'll get used to the training volume. But but that's what I mean in terms of that kind of style of training. I wouldn't make myself do that, but I can totally see why he's made me do that though. So
just so people know, like Andy, or probably most of us here, like we probably like operate on a very like low volume, high intensity basis with regards to training. So like 1 or 2 top sets max, typically followed by a back off set. Whereas what you're going for now seems to be not quite straight sets, but there's an inclusion of like cluster sets.
Yeah.
This sort of stuff. Like it will be, and that's what the first thing in my mind is. I wonder how Andy will take adjusting to it, because going from what we do to that, like it's night and day in my opinion.
Yeah.
And taking that intensity and applying it to that is 2 different things.
Yeah.
And so actually trying to determine, okay, how can we like try and maximize these sessions through like divvying up the intensity or just being smart about it.
Yeah.
Your normal client though couldn't do something like that. Like fucking Andy can't do that. I guarantee you can get a normal client to do that kind of stuff.
Can't do it yet.
They'd be able to do it, but they just wouldn't do it properly.
Yeah, like
when you're not there, they are not going to do that.
No.
Like a peak set and a back off set, you write down everything, measure it all, they'll do that, no issue. But doing a set like that Andy's doing, there is no way you'll get a client to do that.
Yeah.
No.
But even trying to, this is actually it's probably often a tangent, but even trying to, and I think it was in like the Patrick Tour UK Pro Muscle podcast, as they're actually talking about how to teach intensity, because like you guys will be the same. Like when you'll get like videos back from clients and they'll rack it or they'll do something and it looks like they've still got plenty in the tank. It's the same with that. Like it's just, it comes down to the actual individual and actually whether or not they've got the bottle.
I hate it though when you do it yourself and you do a set.
You really go back in my leg.
Absolute fuck. You watch it back and order, adds 3 more in that. Why the fuck did I stop?
Yeah. I know. I hate that.
I know, but I think Patrick Tour actually said on the UK Pro Muscle podcast, or well, maybe you'll agree with this, Andy, but the style of training that you're doing just now, I kind of think of it like that's a style of training that's somebody that's already got a huge amount of muscle mass.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
To take their physique to the next level. If anyone's listening that's maybe a beginner or at the start of a bodybuilding journey, this definitely isn't the kind of training system you would be wanting to be doing. Like,
no chance, no.
Just focus on just getting strong and doing the kind of basic low volume approach maybe at the beginning.
Yeah. The SSTs, like that's, basically he kind of eased me into it. So the first phase of training he had me doing was straight sets, straight sets but higher volume. So like your 6 to 8s, and he got me to focusing on different portions of the rep, and things like that. So it was tough in terms of the volume, in terms of the amount of work that I was doing. But I handled it okay. But this was fucking stupid. Like this was like, I was in so much pain doing the cluster sets. I'd done barbell rows, and like my hands still hurt from gripping the bar for that long. So it's
Andy, going to explain quickly what a cluster set is?
So a cluster set is you do 4 sets of 5 in one set. So in between each set, you take 10 seconds rest.
It's almost like a style of rest pause.
It's rest pause. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you do 3 clusters. So it's 3. You do that 3 times.
What 3 sets? Basically, like 3 sets of 20.
3 sets of 20, yeah. Rest pause 20.
Man. My hands are sore just thinking about that.
Yeah, my hands still hurt.
I can see sweat dripping down from Fraser's face at the thought of that volume.
So,
love Darren with volume. I don't mind volume, you're weapon.
So Reagan was next to me, and she was like, you all know that I'm a sweaty bastard. Like, it's disgusting. It's disgusting, right?
That's one way to describe it.
And Reagan was like, I've never seen you sweat like that. That was the first cluster of the barbell row. I was like, holy fuck. Like,
your back must have been screaming.
Yeah. So I'd done 160 for the first cluster, 160 for the second, and the last 2 reps of the last set of the cluster, like I was basically shrugging it. So my lower back was so fucked. So I had to go down to 140, and then by the end of the 140, it was fucked as well. So
the amount of food that you're eating just now would obviously be making your lower back pumps worse.
Yeah. So, but I know next week when I do it, because I'm not going to use 160 next time because that was just a bit too heavy. Instead of doing deadlifts, I'm going to do single arm dumbbell row because I deadlift on my hamstring day. So I'm kind of like, I don't know why I did that, but that's why you kind of have to do it. So just to run through it.
He doesn't give you like specific exercises to take?
No, he just lets me choose.
That's quite good.
Yeah. So he gives examples like, but he basically says you can pick, because I understand why he makes me pick, because as we all know, see when you write out a training program for a client, they're like, oh, like I can't do this, can't do that, can't do this. You just wish that you could just be like, Ryan, pick one then, pick your favorite. But obviously with the level of clients we work with, you know, we're not working with people who have trained for 10, 15 years. So, but yeah, he just lets me pick, which is good because I'm quite fussy with certain exercises. So,
yeah.
And is that something you perhaps carry over to any of your own clients with regards to this kind of technique? Because what I find is going to be really interesting, actually seeing how your actual coaching is going to evolve.
Mm-hmm.
Because working with a top tier coach like that, you know, he's like a world renowned coach, you know, coaching Olympians, you know, it's bound to have an influence on your coaching. So I can't wait to see how it evolves, man. It's going to be, you know, I can't think of anyone in Scotland that's coached by Pat Struden. You know, you obviously have that immediate advantage that, you know, you have that wealth of knowledge there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can already see when there's a few guys I'm working with just now, like same level of you guys, where like I'm saying to them, right, okay, well, we can handle more food if the volume's higher. So I've started putting in some more volume with certain guys, not all of them. And then, but like the SST kind of system, I think just like I did with kind of like Jordan's system and DC's system, I kind of tweaked it to make it my own, essentially. I'd like to, after I've done this for a good bit of time, I'd like to take what Patrick has asked me to do and kind of put my own spin on it, and then sell training plans.
That's just kind of what every coach that as a coach should be doing, is like learning from guys that are better than you, or like learning from these guys and then taking what you've learned and manipulating it to kind of suit you and take the parts that you liked, take the parts that you didn't, as you said. Like, I've done the same things with things like Cornelius has taught me, like, to kind of manipulated it into kind of how I kind of interpret it. But I think I said to you, like, it's definitely going to be one of the best things you've ever done. It's the best, because he wasn't cheap.
No.
Invest the money in an absolute top level coach. It's guaranteed to make you a better coach, which is so exciting to think. Like,
yeah, I think obviously it's not just the personal development; it's obviously the coaching development side as well. So, but yeah, he's like just like you said there with so a lot of stuff I did with my low volume stuff. For instance, like I take JP's loading and deload, alter that slightly, but I'm not the biggest fan of push-pull legs. So you take certain things from different coaches and things you learn, like some of the stuff like Nick taught me. I understand why he asked me to do that, and I did it myself. And then right, okay, I think something different can go there. And like the way that I've never worked with Chris Sato, obviously, but I know guys personally who have. And the way that he like will fluctuate carbs throughout the week, rather than just going, right, talk to me in 7 days. So like Fraser, Taylor, you both know that I would look at you and I'd be like, right, for the next 3 days, I want this elevated and I want that down, and we'll see how you look. Yeah. That's from what I gathered from people who have worked with Chris Sato. That's how he does it. You know, he monitors it that way rather than a blanket plan set for X amount of days. Yeah, I know a lot of other coaches do that as well, but it's not trial and error. It's more like informative.
It's calculated.
Yeah. It is calculated. So I would say to you, right, I want you to do 3 days with an extra 150 gram of carbs in, and we'll see how you look the second day. And if we know that we're going in the right play at the right pace, and then from the second day, we can pull things back if need be. So, you chop and change from different coaches and that, and you take bits, but that's what coaches should be doing. Whereas I think a few guys feel that they're just married to one person and will not deviate from that style of coaching or style of prepping or dieting or training. Yeah. So
I can definitely say that I learned like so much from you, just on like so many different levels. And I said to you before, like, you know, I've got to thank you for so much, but particularly the way that you, with like your check-ins, you were so like the detail, and you could tell you put time in. Whereas I've had like Joe's, like one of Joe's old coaches was fucking useless. Not a Glasgow one that we know of. Another one, so it wasn't her. She was actually alright compared to this guy. But you know, like it's that, like you read a lot, like you almost feel like you're invested in the client, and you develop a relationship, and it makes you want to work harder for them. And like after having, you know, obviously worked with you, then went to work with Cuba. You know, Cuba was very precise, and especially with training, like execution was paramount. And get me to send over everything. That's something that I've taken from. And then obviously with Cal now, with, you know, my fucking check-ins, like I could even admit it's ridiculous. It takes me about 10 minutes every night to do it. You know, so it's fascinating. Like and I already feel that I've had the best start, everything from starting with you, and you know, and it sets yourself up. And there's just so much to learn, man. Like there's never not, and this is a point I think we were discussing, is, you know, you're never not done learning. There's always something in natural nature of the sport itself. There's always new things coming out. There's always new things to learn. There's, you know, not everything is concrete. Everything can be taken with a pinch of salt, and it's really just unique.
Yeah, and like the reason why I'm kind of like that with my check-ins and the time and the investment is because the first person I came across in bodybuilding was Graham Park, and he, like, the selflessness he put in to helping me, I was always like, right, that's who I'm emulating, basically. And that's why I got on well with Nick Vandal so well as well, because he's very much like Graham. And so obviously that's where I've taken that, and I was lucky in the sense that I was around guys coming up who were with certain coaches, and they would bitch and moan about how they were being treated, how like some guys, their coaches wouldn't reply to them for over a week, and you're getting one-word answers, sending them plans with like other people's names on them, shit like that. I was like, fucking hell, that's so poor. And I was just like, I'd never want to be like that. And every coach makes mistakes. Every profession on the planet makes mistakes. But if you can be as good a person and a good, like, basically, I just want the service. I'd give the service that I want. So I want to be able to speak to my coach whenever. I want to have almost a friendship relationship with a coach. Possibly talk about stuff outside of bodybuilding, because it gets old. So all these wee things that I want in a coach, I just try and emulate myself. So
yeah, cool, man. Do you want to? Will we get through some of these questions? Because we've got fucking honors.
I know, mate.
Really?
Well, no, you get fucking honest, Fraser. I did absolutely fuck all.
I've got all the questions right here, and I've been looking at it kind of going, we've answered that one.
Mate, me too. I as well. I was like, what can we say?
See,
Professionalism speaks fucking volumes.
To be fair, we have covered quite a lot.
That's the thing, though, is that Fawad Abiad was on his podcast. He was like, even if someone asks the same question, just answer it again, because this could be the first episode that someone watches.
Oh yeah.
So just like, if you look at it that way, and some, like, you never know, like, your opinion of something might have changed since the last time you answered it. So.
Oh no, I mean, like, we've answered these questions and you just talking. Like, right.
Oh, okay, got you.
I was going to say, right, before we said this, there was one question. If you could go back at any time throughout your entire career and do something differently, what would it mean, why? And I was going to say it would have been fucking Madrid and that prep.
Yeah, I think you've heard that story about 40 times, so yeah.
But I think this is an interesting one.
Mm-hmm. So,
probably without, I'm curious if anyone would debate this. The two best bodybuilders in Scotland would be you and Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that? Who do you think out of you both has got the most potential?
Fuck.
For anyone watching that doesn't know, Andy, with the people we're talking about is obviously Andy and then Greg, and Andy is Greg's coach, best friend. So
they're best mates as well.
Yeah.
Wait, did you meet at Results?
No, JGB in Aberdeen.
All right.
Before it was DW.
Oh, right.
Yeah, like 10 years ago or something.
I knew this was going to be a fucking awkward question. I was like, don't sling him that.
No, it's not awkward, because I think I can speak objectively, and I think Greg can speak objectively as well.
Who do you think is going to go further in the sport? It's basically another way of looking at it.
I'm younger and have less personal commitments, so possibly me. Greg's married and he's got 2 kids. But in terms of physique, I think we're not in terms of look, but I think we're incredibly similar in terms of potential.
Yeah,
I think, I think we can both do fairly well on a IFBB pro circuit once we've both got the size.
Yeah.
The only thing I can objectively think of is the fact that Greg's older than me and he's got a family.
Yeah.
I think that's the not saying like family holds you back, but you know what I mean. It's tying in a different way.
Oh
so,
yeah, that's one thing that if you've got a family and you've got to consider a prep, it's a fucking whole different process.
That was such a professional answer.
That's what I do.
Okay. Gag, marry, kill.
Death was kill you, Fraser, man.
Right, I thought about this.
We basically gave Andy a heads up with this question.
I think I needed a heads up with this question. Right.
So between the 3 of us,
do I consider myself a woman or a man?
Nah, you're a man.
All right, okay. Well, right.
You fucking bikini competitor.
I know.
No, you know what I mean? If you're talking from a woman's perspective, it's different from a man's.
If you were a bikini girl and you had to kill one, shag one, marry one.
Okay, well, how about this? Give us the answers from both perspectives. Let's see.
Yeah,
Fuck, that's even not.
I'll be
I can't even do the. I can't even do the one. Right.
I'm fucking straight out.
I'd marry Taylor.
Yes.
I'd have to shag Darren and kill Fraser.
I could have fucking told you that when that happened, man.
And
I called it. I was like, Fraser's good. He's coming for you, mate.
in my head, I was going, please don't shag me, please don't. Oh, that's so funny, man.
That's brilliant.
Oh, I'm so happy with that.
I'm not. I'm getting fucking killed.
Yeah, Fraser. To be fair, there have been many a time where I've been close to killing you already. So that's just obviously my go-to because of that.
That's true.
Like, remember that time where I was in the staff room and you kicked the door open and I went fucking apeshit at you. Remember that?
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh man,
there were so many things that I used to do like that.
Oh my god, I remember thinking I'm gonna fucking kill you. I was like, but we're best friends now, so it's fine. We're best friends then as well, but you know what I mean. You kicked a door in my face, so.
The private door didn't just like smash around. It was like a silhouette.
I've got an interesting question. It's really interesting to hear your perspective on it. Ali Brown has actually asked us. He said, out of both titles, what one? So the PCA Britain and the PCA NABA. Sorry, can't even speak. The NABA Mr. Britain and the PCA Mr. Britain. So you've won both titles. Do you think one of them was more prestigious than the other, or was one of them more meaningful than the other? So basically, what title do you think was better, or what one were you happier winning?
Excuse me, the NABA British.
NABA?
Yeah, I think, well, you were there, like, the guys that were in that class, the class ones were fucking monsters. I just felt I had more competition at the NABA Britain. So it just, the win was, it was more, it meant more to me. Whereas I think at PCA there was 6 or 7.
Mate, it was a total whitewash as soon as you came out. I remember, I wasn't there, but I could see the videos.
Yeah, I look better at the PCA British, but
that's true. Sorry, there you go.
But at NABA it was just purely because some of the guys that were in that class, I was just like, these are like literally monsters, like.
Yeah.
So I was outsized, 100%. I was outsized, but I just felt I was lucky that, you know, my shape, my condition, and the whole package was brought it together. So
that was one of the first times for me watching you compete that I was like genuinely nervous watching, because I was like, "Fuck, you're not the biggest guy on the stage." Like, I think overall you were the most complete guy on the stage. So I definitely think that the best guy won, but there was guys that you were standing next to that had like bigger shoulders or bigger arms than you.
Yeah.
But nobody had the legs that you've got. And it was just, like compared, obviously we're not taking anything away from any of the guys that competed at the PCA Britain, but I think you are right that at the NABA show it was a lot more competitive.
Yeah. I mean, you had like Giorgio, who came second. He went on to beat me at the Universe, and then you had Simon Drake, who coaches Tom Stoltman. Yeah. He's a monster. He's about fucking 9 foot wide. So like with the class 1 height cutoff, I only make it by 1 centimeter. So I was also the shortest as well. Yeah. So
that's why you've got the best legs.
I remember
he stumps.
I remember the British finals, and Josh Malley was in the lineup. Class, and I'm thinking, how can some guy be so tall and have so much muscle?
That frazzles me as well. But you competed in the PCA Pro after finals. that's one lineup that I never got the placings for. Like, I have no idea how they done that, or like PC are pretty bang on with judging it. But that was the most weirdly judged lineup ever. It was that Blue Boss guy. I have never seen anyone as lean as him before. And I can't believe he didn't even get top 6.
But I think it was really obvious. So when you're looking at him on like a visual note, the physiques were so different, and they obviously just went for the nicer looking physique, because although that guy was peeled, in my opinion, I don't think he has a very nice shape.
And he's very small.
Good shape.
Yeah, he's not got the muscle mass that the other guy.
He wasn't like a pure freak, but wasn't he a classic? Didn't he get his like a PCA Pro card through classic bodybuilding or something?
I'm not sure. Not sure. But like, it's like, yeah, he was shredded, but honestly, if he told me it was natural, I'd believe him. So that's the level of mass he had.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Absolute savage.
I know, that's probably the biggest insult.
That's true. That's true. He doesn't want to be a big guy, so that comment can't hurt him.
I've got one. So it's obvious that you've obviously put a lot of time into your posing, but has it always came natural to you? Or has it been something that you've kind of developed, or you kind of like looked to others for inspiration for?
Yeah, it's club dancing years.
In the garage.
In the garage. Yeah, it's always come naturally to me. I've always enjoyed it, which that's the number one part of posing that I think a lot of guys don't have, is they don't enjoy it. And then obviously I've looked to inspiration from the classic guys and some of the poses that they do, and then just subtly tweaking it towards myself. But yeah, the posing's always been very much it just came naturally. I think that's the same with a lot of when you look at like top posers, they don't even have to think, they just do it. Whereas guys who struggle with it, you can tell are quite rigid and they don't quite flow.
It is very similar to dancing. Like, it's like rhythm. You've either got rhythm or you don't. Obviously, yourself how to do it, and you can become better at it. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like,
something that I thought was really interesting was when I went to Andy to come up with a routine.
Andy and I out tearing up a dance floor.
What I thought was really interesting with Andy when I went to my routine was he would sit and he'd play the music, and it'd almost be like it's almost like he was in a different place, because his hands was moving in line with the beat, and he was almost like he was just visualising. He was in his own world. And I remember sitting there with a massive grin on my face, and I was like, I hope you don't think I'm being cheeky and laughing at him, but I was just like, I could just see it was like clockwork.
Yeah. And it just comes naturally. Like, I don't see if someone like whips out a guitar and just like plays like a tune. I'm like, I don't know how they've come up with that, but it just comes naturally. You know what I mean? And like when I hear a tune, I just know how I'd move to it, basically. So it's already set in my head how I'd move to it.
That's definitely something I've been trying to make a conscious effort of, is just making sure that it flows so much better, because like you said, it's easy enough to go and look, you can do it so robotic, but it makes such a difference when it's so fluid. Yeah.
I know, it's the transition, like the way I move, like my feet and stuff, like I could try and teach you that, but that's just the way I kind of move, like my hands and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, my feet.
Not in real life though. Hi, I'm Andy.
changing light bulbs.
Because I'll say so if you said to me, right, pretend you're holding an apple. So that's me holding an apple, right? This is me teaching coaching. But I'll say that to a guy who's not very good at coaching. I'm like, right, pretend you're holding an apple. It's like that. It's like, you don't hold an apple like that. What? Like, yeah, and honestly, it's quite funny, because not with you three, but like some people, it's like, right, they walk up to you like a normal human, say hello, and then we go and do the posing, and then as soon as you say take 2 steps to your right, they're like that. Like, it's like they have no control of their feet anymore. It's weird. I don't know. That's what I mean. It just comes naturally.
Fraser,
some people, it's mad.
Are you any good
What?
Is Fraser any good at posing?
Yeah, Fraser's a good poser.
I've actually never seen Fraser pose.
That's,
I think
just
because
like
Fraser's physique's like very much so like angles, isn't it?
Yeah. That's actually interesting that we're talking about posing, because that's actually how me and Andy met.
I thought it was, yeah.
I basically hired him to do a posing session.
Oh, really?
Previous to that, I'd never met him. And then we did a posing session together, and I basically fell in love with him. Yeah.
Oh, it's funny.
Funny because it's true.
That was ages ago.
Oh, fucking hell, man.
Fuck's sake. But
Cool.
So,
Questions.
I'm actually surprised how much questions we've actually answered. Someone on Instagram's asked you to give your opinion on like Scotland's kind of hope for IFBB pros. So, if you think Scotland's, who would you say is maybe the future of Scottish bodybuilding? Or
Karen's definitely up there, I'd say.
yeah, so
Do you mean
Karen's obviously already a pro. So, like, who do you think has got the potential to turn pro, if anyone?
Greg Taylor. Liam in Edinburgh. I keep forgetting his second name.
Liam John.
Liam John, yeah. Definitely him.
Yeah,
100%.
Freak, man.
Yeah, he'll definitely turn pro.
He was a junior as well.
Yeah.
He's a year older than me. He's massive. He's so tall.
Yeah. I remember watching him compete as a natty, being like, he could beat untested guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Kirk as well, probably, for physique.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what Kirk does with his off seasons, but I feel Kirk could be doing more in his off season. But, I've never actually sat down with Kirk and talked about what he does in an off season, because he's got preps nailed to a T. Like, he gets peeled every single time, and he can start prep 4 weeks out and be peeled.
Yeah.
But in terms of like off season, I don't know if there's something missing there. But I think if he was to really push an off season, I think he would easily get his card.
Did he win his class at the amateur role in London?
I think he came quite close. Like,
he maybe won it and then didn't win the overall.
I think he won his class, but he didn't win the overall.
Yeah. Anyone else? I think if like Nick was able to focus and put his head to it, I think he could do it.
100%.
No one can beat him in condition.
Yeah.
He's just got that like see-through skin.
Yeah.
What age is Nick though? Like
38, I think.
Nice. He can still do it.
Yeah, he's got like a fucked shoulder and that, and he's had issues with a hernia and stuff. So, but like I think he should do like one last hurrah and just see if he can.
100%. You'll never
seen anyone with so much veins popping out of just random places. It was mid back, and I'm like, who gets veins there?
I know. I remember. See when he won the PCA overall, the Scottish. I went to the show with him, and like he was like, "Can you take a look at me?" And I was like that. Yeah, you're fine, mate. There's nothing there. So yeah, it's next level condition. But and don't get me wrong, he's massive as well. Like he's not just peeled. He's big. So it'd be cool to see him try to get his pro card before he kind of bows out. But those are the three that pop into my head anyway, guy-wise. In terms of girls, I don't really know the girls scene too well. I mean, you've got Karen and Erin already pros. So it'd be interesting to see what they do down the line. So
yeah, I think Karen's looking to compete late next year. Start very interesting. Really interesting.
Yeah, it'll be good, but it's a shame with Scotland because we don't have the population, and we don't have. Sorry.
I was going to say the quality is really good, but I'd say it's not like
it is.
You know, the caliber is there. It doesn't help that obviously a lot of the gyms here are pretty dog shit with regards to. Obviously, you guys have got Future, I've got Flex, but you know, if it was up to us, I guarantee that we would kit it out. It would look and feel totally different. If we were kind of create this place, some of the facilities I have in England.
I know that is one of the biggest aspects as well. And I think in terms of the culture, I don't know. I just don't think bodybuilding is as big as it is in England anymore. Just now
up here as well. Like in England, you have like how many shows every weekend?
Yeah,
I think we have
Scotland. That's it. PC Scotland, and then you've got the NABA Scotland, or the NABA Scotland. And there's like an IBFA one.
All the other ones that no one gives a shit about.
Yeah.
Miami Pro.
Yeah. So that's all your boys though.
Yeah, I know. That's why I want to move up to Classic.
You've got legs for it anyway, so.
Yeah.
I think you should do WBFF, Fraser.
God, no.
Get your kilt out.
Max got that one solid. I don't think I'm going to be competing with that anytime soon.
You're at that point now where you could easily go up the Classic, though. You know, just more tension in the legs and you're laughing.
I always struggle with it though. Like, because my legs, it's weird because my legs are pretty strong and a good amount of movement.
Structurally.
Yeah. And then also the amount of injuries I keep picking up because I'm being hypermobile as well is so annoying.
The worst work around it though. So that's exactly. I mean, obviously you had that dodgy hip, and and throughout your last prep, you only did the horizontal leg press, as opposed to like the 45-degree one. Or you did both, or you couldn't. What was it you couldn't do?
Yeah, I could only do horizontal leg press. So that was. But yeah, that's just what you have to do. So.
Luckily, that's such a good machine.
I know.
Brings us on to something of the overpriced dominatrix of who is our physio.
The overpriced dominatrix. I've actually been going to Uddingston physiotherapy.
Have you?
Yeah.
Mad, because I was actually seeing her today, and she was like, bastards and Uddingston have stole my clients.
Well, it's got nothing. Again, it's got nothing to do with like her services at all. It's purely Uddingston stayed open.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah,
that was it. That's Uddingston stayed open, and I was fucked. So I had to go see someone.
Exactly.
And so. I mean, like people. I mean, like we're all coaches. Like people leave us and go to other people as part of the business, and it's just a shame that her business was affected because of lockdown. And theirs wasn't. So it's just unfortunately it's the way the world works, isn't it?
I was going to flip the switch on you and ask if you've got any questions for us.
Oh shit!
If you want any tips on gaining muscle, let us know, mate. We're open book.
Hey, how do we get legs like you?
What is, for each of you, what do you consider the most annoying thing that coaches do?
Oh my God, man. I feel like there's so many.
I know. Come on to their fucking clients and try and get them to send them scuddies.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking from like personal experience. Andy's only asked me that a couple of times, but I don't think
You sent them voluntarily.
Yeah,
There's no asking. There was no asking.
Andy's not even coaching me anymore, and I still send them.
That's such a good question.
It doesn't have to be from personal experience. It can be from anything.
You know, another funny thing, and it's about the same fucking person, is asking how much clients can afford, basing their off of that. Yep, I've seen it.
That's annoying.
Mate, value your service. That's something I've always thought from the start of starting everything is, stick at a price that you're confident in and you believe in the service is going to. Don't just chop and change from client to client, because I can imagine it becomes it gets to the end of the tax year and it's just a boy.
Yeah.
Just have it nice and simple. But don't ask what they can and can't afford. Like, value your service.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to think. Like, my biggest probably, if we're talking about pet hates with clients, is with coaches. I mean, I feel like I do have opinions about how other coaches coach, but at the same time, I couldn't care less how other coaches run their businesses. Like, it's their business; they can run it however they want. But one of my pet hates is just knowing that a coach exists that doesn't personally really even train themselves.
Mm.
I know so many fucking PTs and people that don't even train or don't even enjoy training. I'm just like, why the fuck are you a PT? Like,
Andy sent me this the other day.
love what you do.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Andy was telling me this the other day. These guys are like, oh, I'll help you get your business to 6 figures with 6 clients, and the cunt doesn't look like he's ever taken a set to failure in his life.
Yeah. The thing is, though, like, as much as that, like, I know, like, I sent you that the other day, Fraser, but so when I first came into Bass Street, right, I was naive. I thought, like, everyone's going to gravitate towards me, but I think, I don't know, I just don't think that someone's physique in this country equates to success. I think the general public doesn't see it yet like that. Some do, a lot of people do, but
I'm not.
I think a lot of people are very intimidated by someone who looks like they've been successful in what they sell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know why. I mean, even like, I know guys in, like, just say, like, Dubai, they do so well. Like, the bodybuilders and the guys who compete, they do so well, and all the IFBB pros out there, because people are like, well, you can tell that he's invested in himself to look like that. So I want a piece of that. Just like someone who's built a business from nothing, I want to know how they've done that. Yeah. You know? So I think it's just the way that people view the fitness industry in this country. I think it's very much dominated by feelings of intimidation and inadequacy and things like that. And I think that's why some people will gravitate towards more a coach who maybe doesn't train or doesn't enjoy training purely because they make them feel good, or things like that.
Yeah.
But obviously, if that's what you want, you get results from it. You know, who are we to kind of debate that? But yeah, that's one of my peeves right now is on Instagram. It's like, I don't know if it's because the gyms in England are a way to open, but there's like every second post is a sponsored ad from a PT. As soon as everyone starts doing sponsored ads, you've just got a news feed again. Yeah. You're not unique with the sponsored ads. So some of these ads, I'm just thinking, like, you should be investing in better things, to be honest.
Well, I just thought of a fucking belter, of a pet peeve that other things that other coaches do is texting or contacting someone else's client. Oh, that's just so fucking bang out of order. Like, I'm so paranoid about doing that like in my gym, for example, like, I'm very respectful, like, in my gym that I train in. If, like, I try not to even speak to another client. I don't want that PT to ever think Darren's trying to poach my client. Like, I feel like that's a kind of unwritten rule. Is that it's just a respect thing. Like, you don't add them as a friend on Facebook. Don't follow them. Like, I've been in gyms that my client has told me, oh, that PT that works in your gym followed me on Instagram, and I'm just like, that's out of order as far as I'm concerned. Like, it's just something you don't do. Like, it's stepping on other people's toes.
Yeah, I don't understand why you would. If someone's got a coach, like, you just shouldn't be messaging them. If you can clearly say they've got a coach, because everyone tags their coach in their captions or in their bio, like, just like stay your way. But I mean, I'll ask this question to all 4 of us: how many of us have gone through Instagram and offered coaching and PT? You know what I mean? You shouldn't be doing that anyway. Even if it's someone who doesn't have a PT, that's hard sales. Someone should come to you on merit. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't think of anything more cringeworthy than messaging someone being like, "Oh, by the way, do you know that I compete?" So basically, I've got a story about this. So like, a top coach back in the day. We're going back maybe like 5 years just now. Who's coached a lot of the guys to turn pro. I wanted to work with him. Like at one point, he was on my list of guys I'd love to work with, and he said to me, like, he was messaging me saying how am I doing and all that sort of stuff. And then he was like, if you need a hand with anything, I'm here for you. Like, and that just immediately put me off. I was like, that's desperate. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So
that's something that
I think guys do it to girls more often.
Mm-hmm.
They'll message female clients and be like, "Oh, you've got so much potential," like blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you smiling, Fraser?
This is literally making someone pop straight to my head right now. It's the same guy done it to me and Andy.
Yeah. That so yeah, it's it's if someone's not coming to you on merit or a way that you've marketed yourself, then you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, like you want
such a poor business model.
You want to work with people who want to work with you.
Yeah.
It's so fucking to us it's common sense, but obviously not everyone's got common sense.
But that's the thing, is it seems like because of obviously these like Bill Grahams and who's the guy that owns N10 again? What's his face?
Phil Learning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So because of them, like it's almost, and I understand that it's a business, but it's almost turned into just like sales.
Yeah.
More than anything else.
That's one thing that's pissing me off so much as well, is that so many of these guys are preaching about how to sell and market and edit videos, and you're like, this cunt doesn't even know what a carb is, and they're PTing. Like, let's not fucking be about the bush. To get your level 3 PT is, honestly, God, spell your name and you can get it.
Yeah.
They give it out, but like the amount of people just, they actually don't know how to PT or train or look at nutrition properly.
Mm-hmm.
But they're focused so much on marketing, and that makes them dino for some reason.
I've had like other PTs literally ask me, like, say things like, I've got a guy client who's came to me and he wants to build muscle, like how should I go about it? And I'm like, you're a fucking PT, you should know the answer to that. Like, It's just, the industry is so saturated with frauds, like, to put it bluntly, like people that are maybe good at sales, but their actual training, nutrition, like knowledge is very fucking limited, if any. Like, but I literally don't care that the industry has so many fucking idiots in it, because as far as I'm concerned, that just makes me and us stand out.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as I'm concerned, fucking bring it on. Like,
welcome.
The more Mongos, the better.
Last long either.
Well, my only issue with that is that imagine someone who could get good results, could possibly change their life, feel better, and all that. They go to one PT and it puts them off for life. That's the problem with having shite PTs in the industry.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. I understand your point. I get that. Like, yeah, like if someone has been treated poorly by a former prep coach, then when they come to me, they're going to get a great service and like me and be loyal to me and stay with me for a while. But on the flip side, like, you don't want people being put off competing or people put off personal training because they've had such a bad experience.
Yeah, that's so true.
So that's kind of how I'm maybe just playing devil's advocate there, but
I didn't think about it like that, but obviously you're right. Like, at the end of the day, usually with most things you all get painted with a one brush.
Yeah.
If there is idiots out there, it's going to make them think all PTs are probably fucking dancing bastards or whatever. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, I understand. They see the guys that kind of do the mentorship stuff. I think that's great. Like, a lot of guys and girls don't have a lot of direction. I personally think that's because they haven't developed themselves first. You know what I mean? As just a quote unquote client, they've not been coached or they've not put themselves through something where they personally develop. So like for me, like the way I post, the way I talk about training, that's from years of me putting myself through said training and said nutrition, and that's my style of talking. Like I say to Scott Simpson all the time, like I feel a bit intimidated by some PT's posts because I'm like, fucking hell, how have you thought of so much to write? But then on the flip side, I'm like, well, maybe my style that's just my style, and I've developed that. That's not me talking in that kind of way. And I think that a lot of people need to be shown how to develop their business and their style and the way they talk and market themselves and things like that. If someone's amazing at Instagram and that's what they're good at, then that's great. But like, I think there's across the industry, people need direction in all fronts of this, not just purely how they market themselves. So
yeah. Great.
Yeah.
That was good, man. Thanks for coming on. That was class.
Yeah, no problem at all.
It was an absolute pleasure. We'll have to do it again. Have to get on when you're back on prep. Have to get a night. We'll have to get one where you're a few weeks out and feeling absolute garbage.
Yeah, where I've got a jaw and no chins.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be awesome.
But yeah, thanks again though. Then we'll get any like closing notes or?
No, just pretty much as you've said. If anyone's listening or managed to stay on this long, so I think we're on about an hour and a half. But yeah, we're still kind of new to this whole podcast thing. So if anyone's got any suggestions, if you've watched this, please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share the video, like put it on your Instagram, put it on your stories. Like let us know that you've watched it. Give us a message. Let us know what you think. Any support, obviously, we appreciate. So just thanks if people have tuned in for this long. Yeah.
Well, cheers. That's us off. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye, guys. See you later.
Later.